Well, good afternoon. Hey, welcome to NASFT's gift building program. I've been asked to speak to you today about gift building, but first I think we should at least acknowledge the providence of God in getting everyone here safely, and hopefully that you will use your seatbelts when you go home tonight. We want more retailers, and that's the name of the game. Okay. I have to acknowledge John. John has originally invited me to put on the program, and Ann Brody, who is in the back of the room, quite often, these people behind the scenes do a tremendous amount of work, Gina Lombardi, and we're looking at the top of the iceberg. You really don't see all the important support people and all of the logistics behind it. So I want to make sure I thank them. I've been asked to speak to you today about Gift Building 101. I'd like to see, has anyone flunked kindergarten in the last 50 years? If you have, raise your hand, go to the back of the room. Put your nose in the corner. Okay. In the back of the room actually is a profile of today's program. For those of you who do not have it, they are in the back. This is a communications piece that I send out to my customers. If you don't have one, you're certainly welcome to it. I think it'll help you with the program. Let me talk about trust, because before we can build baskets, you've got to build trust. All right? And the example of that is, I have a $50 bill right here. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask for bids. Now, the lights are in my eyes, so I really can't see too far. So I'm going to shield my eyes. Tell me who'll give me $5 for this. Over there? Okay, $10. $10? $10. This is a real $50 bill. The lady over there, 15, 20, 20. 25, 25. Sold. $25. Come up here. Give me $25. I'll take a check. All right? What's he doing? What's going on? Now I have an envelope. Who'll give me a $5 bid? Okay, someone in the back. 10, 10, 15. Let's see, 15. 15, 15 over here. 20. Anybody? 25. 25. 25. You've got it. Come up here with $25 and I'm going to give you this envelope. In the envelope is a $50 bill. Now, all of you thought that I was, come on, all of you were sure that I was going to trick you. But I'm not here to trick you. I'm here to show you that, in fact, when you and your customer, there you go, thank you. That when you and your customer walk into another store, that's the first thing that you think of. You think of, can I trust this person? Are they going to give me full value? Am I going to pay them $50 and they're going to rip me off? So if you've not done business before with a certain customer, when they walk in the door, that's what they're thinking. What should you do? The first thing, you should put out your hand. Now, you can't do it every time. I agree. But in fact, they're coming to see you. Let's assume you're at home. You're in your living room watching TV. I come to the door's open, I walk in, I say, hello. You say, what are you doing here? I say, I've come to see you. What do you mean? I've come to see what you've done. Is this your home? Are those your pictures? Gee, beautiful furniture. But I don't know you. Of course you don't know me, but you should want to get to know me, because I've got money in my pocket. And what do you want to do with that money? You want all that money in your register. Is there anyone here who doesn't want that money in the register? How about credit cards, checks? You'll take anything. And that's really what we're all here to talk about today, not just gift building. So trust is the single important element that each of us deals with every day. Sometimes we take it for granted. So the next time you see what could be a potential customer, if they're well-dressed, I'm not talking about, a lookalike for Bart Stevens or what's the crazy wacko Bart Simpson. I mean, hey, you're not necessarily looking for that type of customer. But make sure that you know who you're dealing with, because when they know who they're dealing with, the element of trust is all of a sudden, gee, they didn't have to meet me. I've been shopping in this store for 5 years. It's the first time someone actually has, in fact, welcomed me as a shopper. So, trust is critical as far as it goes. Times are changing. The Berlin Wall has come down. If someone said to you a year ago, the Berlin Wall is going to come down, of course, and Humpty Dumpty is going to be put back together again, and forget it, okay? We are living in changing times. So I'm in a drugstore, and I'm making a purchase. I'm at the register, getting ready to give the girl change. A young woman comes up and she says to the clerk, she says, 2 packs of Merit 100s. And then she says, and I'll take a dozen of those rainbow-colored condoms over there. I said, what? What did you say? She said, it's none of your business. I couldn't believe my ears. This wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. Wouldn't have happened 5 years ago. But we're living in such a changing time. I said to her, why did you whisper for the cigarettes? She says, my mother's in the next aisle. I don't want her to know I'm smoking. This is unbelievable. We are living in a different world. Are you still driving the car that you drove in 1976? Are you still packing the basket that you packed 10 years ago? So, really what I'm here to do is not only to show you how I build gifts, but to give you some concepts in the way I think when I put these gifts together. Now, most often I get someone will say, I can't sell that in my store. I don't necessarily need you to sell that. But if you build large, expensive gifts, you're going to create tremendous excitement in your store. And that's the name of the game. You are in show business. When you turn on that light and open that door and put the money in the register, you are in show business. And if you don't show your customer quality, integrity, and products up to their quality of life, you're not going to make the sale. Okay. So we're talking about the first element is, in fact, trust. Let's talk about the past. John, would you pass that fellow, that little basket over to me? The last one, the Bon Voyage. Yeah, the $5, the $5 one. Yeah. All right. This gift was used, this style gift was a favorite gift that was used during the late 1800s, 1910, as a steamer basket. And it was designed this way because the staterooms were extremely small and they had no real space. So everything was vertical. You can still find these baskets here in New York today. There are still many people who make them in the old hourglass style basket, you know. And I say to myself, are these people watching what's going on? You know, I mean, I can see that someone might say, I want a vintage basket 1910, you know, about 36 inches high, you know, with a gold bow, and it should say Bon Voyage, you know. Wait a minute. Does TWA have a place, you know, reserved for this basket? People just aren't going on trips anymore, and the ones that are going on trips, certainly they're getting Bon Voyages. But everything all of a sudden has changed. John, I'm going to ask you, now I need a big strapping fellow. See that fellow over there? Are you a tackle for the New York Giants? Come up here, sir. I need you to move the big basket over here. Now, he'll get it, John. He'll get it. John. All right. Okay, John. All right, John. Now, this gift I made up as an answer. Thank you, sir. Jim, you did a great job. Sit down. You did a fantastic job. I made this gift up in response to a retailer who has a customer who's famous, well-to-do, Donald Trump's brother-in-law. He comes in and he says, Cameron McIntosh, the producer of Les Miserables, he's celebrating his 300th anniversary of the play. Here's a blank check. If you don't do something great, you'll never see me again. So now he's puzzled. What's he going to do? He better do something that is up to this gentleman's level, because if he doesn't produce, he's now going to lose that gentleman's business, all right? So now your first thought is you're going to start to put your thinking cap on. You're going to start to think, well, what could I do? What could I do? All right? So this is my concept of this is the type of gift that I came up with, all right? Now, how could you really utilize a gift like this in your store? Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be in your store, but if you were involved with a charity, a national charity, I'm not talking about somebody that has a local firehouse that has 25 members. I'm talking about the American Cancer Society. I'm talking about bigger charities that have got maybe a golf outing where 500, 600, 700 people, the businessmen in your community. These are the corporate people who are buying gifts at holiday time and spending the big dollars. And you don't have to donate all of this. All of the products in here do not have to be donated personally by you. What you do, you say to the membership and the organizational president and vice president, you get your membership to give me some product. I will create a gift for you that's going to make a tremendous difference, and it's going to raise a lot of money. All right? Now, what are we going to do here to ensure that you're going to get publicity? All right? I know. We'll take your business card. We'll put it right there. Can you see the business card from here? All right. What we're really going to do is we're going to take the biggest banner you can make with a giant ribbon that's going to say the gourmet shop right across the front, so that somebody on the 18th hole coming in is going to be able to read it. Because that's the only way that all 600 or 700 people at that golf outing is going to be able to know that that gift came from you. So that is critical. All right? I did one more thing, and I put in the back of that, if I were, in fact, did I come to... No, I guess I didn't. I put in the back of that a tape recorder. And, in fact, if I were delivering it to the executive, I would play the music from the play. All right. Now I'm going to ask James to put it down for me. John, stay there. Okay. All righty. Now, let me move over, and I think I can move this. There we go. Okay. Super, super. Thank you. Thank you. Let me move this over just a slight bit. All right. You know, going around the country, talking an awful lot, my standard seminar when I do speak professionally, and I've got one scheduled in 2 weeks in Los Angeles, is 5.5 hours. That's a long time to speak. I once did 2 for 7.5 hours, at which time I died. I was regenerated. But I've decided to cut it back because it's a long time to entertain people, and it's a long time to present technical information. But about 6 years ago, there was a local speech marathon in my hometown, and I decided to see just how long I could talk. And we got 5-minute break every hour. And I talked for 4 days, 13 hours, 15 minutes, and came in second. And the woman who beat me, she came up to me stuck out her hand, said, "Son, next year you'll do better." I said, "Mother, next year I'll beat you." All right. What I did with this gift was to simply create the ultimate gift for a newborn set of twins, mother of twins, again, from Donald's cousin. You know, his wife is in the hospital, comes to the retailer, said, "Look, I knocked my socks off. Give me something to, another blank check. Hey, I can spend $1,000, all right?" Here what we have inside is we've got a TV monitoring television where you can put a little tiny TV camera in the child's room, and the mother can be in the kitchen and hear what's going on, or that sort of thing. In the back is a little tiny music box, all right? We've got the antenna sticking up. And all of the products that you see that are wrapped were all colored products. Not that there was anything wrong with them. Everything was just a different color. One was red, one was black and white, one was... So for me to keep the color theme, what I did was to simply wrap all those products in the colors that I wanted, all right? Now, at this point, if I were going to sell this gift, I would say it would probably retail in the neighborhood of about $850. But what happens is, again, people today are looking for the excitement value. All right? You've got local TV cable companies that you can work with. You've got local charities that you can get involved with. There's always a promotion somewhere, and you have to be the one to decide to make it happen. No one's going to get behind you, give you a goose and say, "Oh, go do it." If you don't do it yourself, and if you don't orchestrate it and make it happen, no one else is going to, help you. There's something else in here that I'm not going to mention right this second. I'm going to push this over. Let me push that over there and bring this over here like this. And let me get back onto my program as far as flipping this chart over. Okay. All right. The container. Does the container, in fact, really need to be a basket? Doesn't necessarily. It really just has to be anything that's going to hold something. It could, in fact, be a box, you know, a 1 pound box of candy. Let me take this apart real quick. Put this over here. And many people say to me, Tom, how do you get these things so high? I said, well, I watch Star Trek and I use the Vulcan mind probe. I really don't do that, all right? I'm going to take you back to kindergarten, and we are in the sandbox, and we've got wooden blocks, and we've got all sorts of forms, and what are we going to do? We're going to start to stack and put them together, all right? Now, before I do that, I must tell you the secret to the ability to do this. Are we ready with the videotape? We have about 30 seconds of videotape to show you that I think you'll find quite interesting. And I'm going to use that box, or a number of boxes. Let's just assume that you don't have a box that large, or something to build on that. What I want you to do is take 2 snack boxes and tape them together. And if you need to, take a third to get the elevation or the size or the proportion so that you can get that upward flow of your product. So, this product is sitting right there. This product is sitting on the edge of the basket, but also, if you can see, here I've locked this box and that box together in a V, all right? And I've taped them together, front and back, and I've used heavy 2-inch tape.
Thou art permitted to use Scotch tape.
How'd that get in there?
Cut. If, in fact, you work for someone who says, if you use any more than that tape, that amount of tape, I'm firing you tomorrow. Well, let me tell you what you can do. You tell them that the head shrinker, that's what the HS stood for in front and back of my name, the head shrinker told them, you're going to use all the tape that you need to make the presentation what you need. Now, there's some people out there shaking their heads. They're saying, oh my God, I can't use Scotch tape. It'll damage the product. All right, let's settle that, and let's talk about responsibility. As a retailer, your first responsibility is to make the gift look as large and as important as possible. Let's give you a scenario. Customer walks in, says, good morning, hi, how are you? I'd like a gift basket. Wonderful. Something for about $100. Oh, that's exciting. I'm willing to pay $35 for it. Isn't this a scenario? You know, most people come in, they really, you know, I want something really important. You know, let's see, what do you have, $9.95? Can you give me one of those little 5 and 10 cent push-on bows? All right, we're really in the vanity business. And when you sell corporate gifts especially, you've got to project to the customer, look, is this person that you're sending the gift to important to you? Yeah, all right, hey, $29.95 is going to cover it. This guy gives me $250,000 a year. Are you going to send him a little bottle of vinegar with a bow? Of course not. You had better come up to his speed, because that's where he's looking to spend some big dollars. And if he does not see what he's looking for in your store, he's going elsewhere. You know, he's going elsewhere. So we all buy today on vanity. When was the last time you purchased a gift for someone who did a favor for you? Didn't you measure, you know, oh, let's see, she babysat for me for 3 hours. I'll get her a bar of soap. She gave me a winning ticket to the lottery, $10,000. Maybe I'll take her to Atlantic City. But we do this in our own mind. We measure what that individual person has done for us. And after we finish measuring, we now decide, all right? Do you know what the duration of the average gift cycle is? Usually about 3 hours. When I say 3 hours, hello? Hey, did you hear Jane just had a baby girl? Isn't that wonderful? I'm going to tell my wife. Okay. Dear, Jane just had a baby. Oh, what are we going to, what do you want to send her something? Oh, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Should we call the, well, we could get, oh, I don't know. All right, you think about it. So she's now thinking about it. She doesn't want to be late with a gift. So within the next hour, this woman has decided what she's going to do. All right? And now she goes to the yellow pages. And she's going to page through the yellow pages until she finds a creative ad. So do you see the scenario? And if you get her in your store, you know, you've seen the Joe Azuzi ads where the other guy is tackling the customer as they pull him across the stage. Don't let that customer get out of your store until you satisfy their need. But you should be asking that customer questions, such as, I know you want to be proud of this gift. Tell me how much you are thinking of spending. Well, if you really want to impress this person, and obviously you do, is there any time you've ever sent a gift that you didn't want to make an impression? You know, April Fool's Day. All right? So when we give something, we're all trying to impress the individual that we're giving the gift to, and we want them to think well of us. So we are spending money and trying to make, you know, that presentation. So that's really critical, that you don't allow the customer to get away from you simply because your quality has not, you know, come up to theirs. So we're going to go back to kindergarten now, all right? And in this box, in this basket, I've taken heavy brown paper, all right? And I'm going to give you my own professional point of view as far as the styrofoam peanuts. A lot of people are using styrofoam peanuts. The gentleman before, Mark, had mentioned that they are, in fact, biodegradable. But I just don't feel that I'm going to take my peanuts down to the, you know, biodegradable transfer point and drop them off. I'm going to put them in the trash. They're messy. Paper, in fact, heavy brown paper is really all you need to be able to cushion. Now, this is not Scotch taped in. I've just got this box forced in here. All right? Now, this is my first building block at this point. I'm going to use this to build everything else on. And let me see if I can't move these aside so everyone can see. My next building block is going to be 2 boxes of crackers. And class, what have I done with them? I've taped them together. Right, okay. Now, so I'm going to put them here, all right? And I'm going to make the basket backwards so you can see what I'm doing. And all I want to do is just bond it just enough to keep these 2 products together, all right? Is there anyone in the audience? Now, I already wrapped this once, so we've got some debris, some Scotch tape debris. But is there anyone in the audience who cannot do this with Scotch tape? Okay? I'll do it even that way, you know. So all it is nothing more than a V taped together, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to place it like so. And I know that everyone is going to be able to do this. Now, I'm going to tape it there. I'm going to tape it down at the bottom where the V touches the other box. Tape it in the back. All right? And again, I want to make sure that if I do put weight on this, that it's going to hold up. And make sure that there's... All right, now, if that's acceptable as far as the taping goes, that's all the taping at this point that I need to do. Is that objectionable? Okay. All right. Let me give you an answer to that objection. From now on, what I would suggest you do, if you're going to use Scotch tape, in your enclosure card, you should have a small message. To eliminate packaging damage of the Scotch tape, simply take that new invention, scissors, and cut in between the tape. And each of those boxes will come undone. This way the customer is not ripping. Now, have you ever seen a polite customer devour a basket? All right? Honestly speaking, they're not concerned about the packaging. All they want to do is get inside. All right? I'm going to ask a question. Tell me, all of you, and I'm going to take some raised hands. Why are we experiencing such a very strong and unbelievable growth curve with the gift baskets? Can anybody give me an answer? Pardon me? Time? Okay, but I mean, as far as sales go, why has the gift basket become so... Okay. All right. Now I'm going to tell you why I believe it has become popular. When the recipient gets the gift, that's the first surprise. If there are 8 or 10 other products in the basket, they now get 8 or 9 or 10 other surprises. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh, look at that. Get out the... I mean, this is exactly what's happening, especially in a hospital. They've got something to celebrate, whether it's apple cider or a bottle of wine. All right? So, from my own point of view, the gift basket boom is happening because the recipient is so elated that they have got a number of treasures. They've not just received one gift. They first receive the gift, then they get to open it, then they start to discover all of the good things inside, and they're absolutely thrilled. And if they've not gotten one before, it really and truly is a new experience. Now I'm going to come back, and now I'm going to start to put some filler in here. And filler is, it's got to be up to you. You've got to be satisfied with the type, the quality, the texture, the color, all of that. About 15 years ago, before we got into selling shredded material, I received a call from a gentleman in San Francisco. And he said to me, I'm looking to buy some shredded grass. And I said, I don't sell it. I said, maybe I can find a name for you if you want to call me back. But I said, how many pounds? He says, oh, maybe 10 pounds, 15 pounds. I said, all right. So I guess about maybe an hour and a half later, I get another call. And another gentleman is calling about shredded grass. I said, oh, I got to get in this. This is, I'm wasting my time here. I should be selling shredded material. As it turns out, later on in the day, a third gentleman called, telling me that the first gentleman in San Francisco was a drug dealer, and the FBI thought that shredded grass was a new marijuana product. Okay. At this point, I have yet to use any Scotch tape, and everything that's in here is gravity. Now, normally, and I didn't do it because concentrating on speaking, normally I would have put my bag under the basket first, but because of the fact that we've got the video problem, the glare and everything, so I've already got my bag here. So once I start to pack the basket, and I would normally use a Lazy Susan that's over there, and I'm not going to worry about it, I'm going to bring this over here. Here we have a little French tea and some chocolates over here, and put this up here. So at this point, as long as I cushion in between my products, I'm in good shape. Now, if I was going to use tape, I would use the Lazy Susan, and I would start the tape here, run it around the front. I'd use usually 3/8 inch tape, run it all the way around, bring it to the back, and join it up here, just like a belt, on a dress or a skirt. Because if I don't bond it back here together, everything will have a tendency to loosen up. Then my next row is going to be here. And normally when I put the tape on, I am going to be concerned about the placement of the tape in relationship to the wording and that sort of thing. So I would, in fact, be concerned that it wasn't just going to run right across the face of the label. Okay, I'm going to put that, I'll slide that down in there, and put this fellow over here. Okay, so at this point, I've only used a minimum of Scotch tape on this gift. I've only used it to bond the boxes together to get the profile. Look at the side view, all right? Now, this is what I call a backrest basket. Now, every one of you is sitting in a chair. Imagine that if I could take the backrest off of your chair, you'd have no support. You would not be able to sit back. And this is what we have here. We've got the backrest of a chair, and all your products are simply laying back. So, in effect, we don't really need all that tape to hold everything together. Okay. Now, let me come over here. And I had a bow. Let me see where the bow is. Is the bow? I think the... All right, I'm not even going to worry about the bow. Is that a phone? Somebody calling? John, do we have a phone up here?
I don't think so, John.
Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. Hello. Thank you for calling NASFT's seminar. The important ones are here. Hold on. It's the American public, and they're calling for you. Now, I haven't ended yet. I thank you for your applause. Let's go back over here. And cover just a couple other things. How far can you see from here? I use that term to get you to think about where you are today, where you're going to be. I remember, I guess it was about 5 years ago, I said to my mother, I said, you know, I really don't feel 42. She said, who told you you're 42? You're going to be 46. I said, but wait a minute, where did the time go? Where did the time slip away to? And that's exactly what happens with us. You know, I know people who vacation on someday I'll. Someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that. You know, put it into your plan. Let's go back to how far can you see. If you were standing on the top of the Empire State Building tonight, and from what I understand, it's going to be a crystal clear night, how far could you see? Could you see Newark? I'm not sure I'd look to Newark. I'd probably look to Long Island or Connecticut. But really, how far can you see? If I were standing there, I tell you where I would be looking. I'd be looking at the moon, which is 250,000 miles away. I would be looking at the stars that are thousands of years, light years away. And that's where my thinking is. And each one of you has the same ability to do just that. And again, we go back to, if you don't make it happen, no one else is going to make it happen. At the back of the program, you're going to see where I'm talking about millionaires. Now I'm going to shade my eyes. How many millionaires do we have in the audience? John, get his card. Okay, we've got one. Now I'm going to tell you that everyone seated here today, if you walked into this room, you're already a millionaire. Because I know of hundreds of people who have lots of money who are seated in hospitals and old age homes who would be willing to change and give you that money for your good health. So every one of you is going to walk out of here today a millionaire. And I believe at this point, my program has ended. I thank you for your participation. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for coming. And I'm going to present my portion of the program to you. Before I do that, I need to tell you a story very quickly, and it concerns our changing times, our changing economy, the things that happen in our lives that affect us. I was standing in a drugstore at home, Philadelphia, and I was getting ready to make a purchase. And a young woman comes up next to me, and as I was getting ready to make a purchase, she said to the attendant at the cash register, 2 packs of Merit Lights. And then she points to the right, and she says, and I'll take a dozen of those rainbow-colored condoms. I said, what did you say? And she said, none of your business. I said, no, about the cigarettes. I said, why did you hush your voice for the cigarettes? She said, well, my mother is in the next aisle. I don't want her to know I'm smoking. Can I believe it? I mean, we have seen the world just go upside down, all right? You're here today for 3 reasons, I believe. Makes no difference whether I'm here. You're here for profit. 3 reasons you're here: profit, profit, profit. You've come to the Cathedral of Cash. Anytime you go to a seminar, they're selling something, but they should be providing you with sufficient information to make your life easier, more creative, to give you the tools, the ideas, and the imagination. So, if you've come here for money, I'm going to give it to you. I have a $50 bill. Who'll give me $1 for it? Woo! Who'll give me $10 for it? Who'll give me $20 for it? Who'll give me $30 for it? $30. $30. Come up here. Bring your purse. Bring your purse and all your credit cards. All your money. Come on up here. Now, you are Ruth Brown. Why did I sell you a $50 bill for $30? Do you know why? Why?
Because I'm making a profit.
Ah, that's right. Oh, intelligence. All right, you give me the $30.
Sure.
You give me the $30.
So you don't want no pretzels, do you?
No, I don't want a pretzel. I don't need a pretzel right this minute. There's 20. Okay. You want to give me 40 and then I'll give you change?
Yeah.
Give me 40 and I'll give you change.
Sure.
All right, now, so I owe you $10. So after the program's over, you come up and you give me. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Is that it?
All right, you go back down. Now, hey, she just made a profit. I have a blank envelope, and inside the envelope is something. Now, if you've seen this part of the presentation before, I'm going to ask you not to become involved. But he'll give me $30 for this envelope. 20? 10. $10. $10? You sure? You don't even know what's in this envelope. Are you sure? $10. Come on up. Are you a gambler? Oh, God. She's making out pretty good. But I said this seminar was about money. I think I said this is about profit. You come here, you're supposed to make money.
I'll take you.
Now, what do you think is in this envelope?
I don't know, but I trust you.
Oh, let me tell you something. Now, we have not had a conversation before. I want you to see what's in here. $50. Ooh, boy, oh, boy.
See, I trust you when you said you made a profit.
Now, here, you
Thanks.
give that $10 to that lady over there.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. All right, let's just define what just happened. What happened? What just took place was that those of you in the audience, the first time, what's he trying to do? Doesn't make sense. Nobody sells something for less than it's really worth. But then the second time I introduced the envelope, oh, he's really got us. Now, if he thinks I'm going to bid on that envelope and I don't know what's inside. Now, let's assume you're in your store. You've never seen this customer before. Customer walks in your store. They want to buy a gift. What happens when you see them pick up the gift? What are they doing? They're looking into the gift. First, they weigh it. 7.6 7 pounds, 6 ounces. It feels heavy. There's a deciding factor right there. Well, it feels heavy. Now, let me just see. What's inside? Aha. Chucker cherries and, Wagner's tea. Cafe Dior. Oh, I know these names. Pasta Mama, Boca Buns. But wait a minute. If this is stale, do you guarantee it? How about if these nuts are rancid? Can I bring it back? So the trust that we have in every life situation walks in your front door and says to you, can I trust you as a merchant? Once you do business with that individual and you've had 2, 3, or 4 transactions, they know that they can trust you. They may not even come in. They might just simply say, I want you to send a basket. I know you'll do my quality of work. And that's exactly what they're going to say. So they trust you. So until you can gain that customer trust, the customer is always mistrusting. So I'm going to say, make sure that you welcome your customer in the store. Look them in the eye. Shake their hand. These people have come. They have money in their pocket. They're trying to spend it in your store. What are you trying to do as a retailer? You're trying to get all of the customer's money, credit cards, out of their wallet, into your register. And then, let them leave your store going, oh, this is a great place to shop. This is a great place to shop. I love to shop here. I'm always satisfied. I always get good quality. I mean, that's really what this seminar is supposed to be. We're going to talk about goal setting, how important it is. And without goal setting, you reach nowhere. If you don't know where you are, how can you get to where you're going? Now, I don't know where north is. Does anyone in this room know where north is? I'm sort of totally turned around. I'm going to say, let's see, if the front of the hotel, I would say north is out that way somewhere. I've given all my money away. I don't have any more money. All right, but you see, some people know and some people don't. So with goal setting, if you don't know where you are, you can't get there from where you are. You have to know where you are, and that has to be a starting point. Let me bring this over here. Get a drink of water. All right. I've given you a handout. Does everyone have a handout? In the handout, we're going to discuss goal setting. We're going to discuss packing, stacking, and wrapping. We're going to discuss markup and finance. I'm going to tell you the 3 basic lessons that every MBA college graduate gets after they put in all of those hard years of study. We're going to talk about your market, product presentation, product integrity, advertising, the corporate account, and then we're going to go to the dynamics of you. And I'm going to try and do that in an hour and a half, so you can see we're going to very quickly pass. I'm not here to sell you anything. There are lots of shrink film people out in the marketplace, and if you have not tried their product, you should right away ask them for a sample, find out how long they've been in business, find out who they sell to. So to satisfy yourself that you're dealing with a company that's going to do the best thing for you. The only words of advice that I have, don't be lazy. Don't buy your packaging from a non-packaging company, because all they're doing is just simply adding on. They don't have expertise in the thing that they have and in what they're offering. This is a profit control sheet, and you can use this as a recipe. Just copy it when you get home. Use it as a recipe for a workroom book where you have a picture of your basket on the left side, and on the right side you have all of your costs and your retail values. I need this side of the audience, and this is important, to say, who cares? Come on, I just gave you some. Who cares? Really, who cares? Better. So what? I want you all to say, so what? So when I cue you, thank you. When I cue you, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Katniss. Your market. Are you up to your customer's quality? That's another question. You know, your customer may come into your store and decide that, gee, Place isn't very clean. I mean, you do this yourself when you shop. You go out and you judge the people that you want to do business with, and if they are up to your quality, they're going to get your business because you feel that you've been received. Let me give you a real good concept. You're at home in the living room watching a soap. I'm walking down the street. I come up, I knock on the door. Hello? Sonia, how are you? Who are you? I'm Tom Catney, I've come to see what you want, what you do. What do you mean you've come to see what I do? Sonia, aren't you going to invite me in? Well, come on in. Now, what is it that you want? And I'm looking around at your house. Oh, gee, nice decorated. You've done a really nice, beautiful, yeah. This is what the customer's doing. When they pass your store, if it's attractive enough, if your displays are attractive enough, you're trying to lure them in to get that money again out of their pockets. So, if you get them in the store, acknowledge them. Shake their hand, go over, I'm the owner, how are you? Make sure that you know who they are because they want to know who you are. They want to know that they're dealing with the owner. Not because they're going to get anything special from you, but when you know who you're dealing with and they know who they're dealing with, the money comes out of the pocket. So if you go to business meetings, bring extra business cards. Make like you're running for president. Meet every person in that. Work the hall. That's what the professionals do. They go around and make sure that they meet every person in that room. They give the business cards. If you ever need a basket, I make fantasy gifts. I make unusual gifts. You should come down to my store. So I'm saying you have to be the one to be the energy to start the concept. So the customer's looking for a well-stocked store, a clean atmosphere, offering quality. And quality it never goes out of style, and you never get a second chance to make a first good impression. So welcome your customers. Make them feel like they're wanted. I don't know if I met everyone, but I really did make an effort to get around to say hello and thank you for coming. Certainly, especially during the events of this past week. I certainly do appreciate you taking the chance to come out. Yeah, that's right. Do you have a VIP list? You know, do you have a list of the people who are giving you more business than anyone else? You certainly should know who they are. That's critical because they probably give you 25 to 30% of the business that you're doing. And I think you all understand, January through November, 40% of your business is baskets, December is 60%, and then all of the different themes. The one thing I want to touch on in the 11th commandment and when I'm packing boxes where I've wrapped a box, I never pack an empty box in a basket. If I pack an empty box or a multiple of empty boxes, I am sending an April Fool's gift. So, if you pack an empty box, there should be some kind of a note that says the product that is in this box is in the basket displayed. That way the customer doesn't say, hey, I got 8 items and there were only really 4 items because, you know. So I'm saying if you put a little note in there, and it simply helps eliminate any concern. product presentation. Packaging sells the product first. We're all trying to make a name for ourselves. We're all selling something. I can remember, I grew up in the florist business, and my grandmother, in 1950, her husband died after 4 years of marriage, left her with 3 children. And she was a businesswoman in 1915. And the salesman used to come in and always try and sell her something. And I can remember I was about 8 or 9, and I said, Nana, I'd like, and she said, what are you selling? I'd like a popsicle. What are you selling? I'm trying to sell her on the idea of giving me a popsicle. And we are all trying to sell one another. We're trying to sell one another information, products to make a profit, to make a livelihood. And the more professional sell, the easier the money comes out. And when the quality is there, the customer wants to buy your product. They want to buy your product. All right? So, packaging sells the product first. Quality keeps the customer coming back. Do you know quality has yet to go out of style? Money is on the tight side, and the economy is just now turning around. But people are being much more in tune with quality, and they're weighing things. They're weighing things. Let me give you an example. Vanity. We're talking about vanity. Very well-dressed woman comes into your store and says, gee, I need a gift for my babysitter. She's been a loyal babysitter for 15 years. I want to spend... Now, before she came in the door, she knew what she wanted to spend. And there's not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do, because the babysitter's vanity... Well, I guess $25 or $30. I can afford that. She's been very reliable. 3 weeks later, the same woman comes in to your store and says, I've just come back from 2 weeks on Maui with my husband's boss and his wife. And they picked up the entire trip and all the expenses. Can you show me a basket for about $25? Really? Do you really think she's going to buy a basket for $25? Now she's measuring her boss and the wife, what their vanity level, she's got to say thank you. So if you don't have a gift on display for $100, $150, she's going elsewhere to buy that gift. So besides the 5, 10, 15 baskets of, starting at $25, going to $75 and $100, you have to have the abracadabra gift. You've got to have the ooh la la gift. You've got to have the gift that's going to knock their socks off. So that when they walk into your store, they know, even if it's just a dummy gift, and you use it as a display piece, that they have to know that you are in the gift basket business. Big time, all right? I always try and make it a party going somewhere to happen, because we eat with our eyes. We eat with our eyes. Before I go on to this, I did want to do this chocolate basket. Let me do this, because many of the people talked about chocolates and doesn't the heat affect it, and this is not a dummy basket. This is a real basket. The basket is from CBK, and they also exhibit at the show. Pardon me? Wait, where did I had some left over? I think they're up. All right, let me get, Merrill, I'm going to ask you to get a tight shot on this sealer. If I put it right here. This is a sealer that we offer. It makes a 6-inch jaw seal, and I'm going to show you three different types of seals. You've already seen one. And all I'm going to do is go along the edge of the film and seal the film. And I have to interlock. Every time I make a seal, I have to interlock. And this is called a simple seal, sort of ragtag edge. And the film is sort of cringe because it's heat sensitive, all right? Now, the other seal that I'm going to make is different. And if you watch the TV, I think you'll see it better. All right, now, I'm placing my left hand here, and I use the bottom of the sealer, which is cold, and I'll bring the sealer jaw up against the side of the table, and I'll hold it, and I'll pivot. Now, I'm not ripping the sealer away, as I've just done. What I'm doing is, and I have to overlap that seam again, I'm pivoting on an angle with the sealer, and I'm just pulling it away. It's about 3 or 4 pounds of pressure. And you'll see the difference between the seals. Look at the difference between the seals. One is a rag tag, and one is a nice trim seal. If you've not used the sealer before, when you attempt to do it, it's sort of like learning how to ride a bicycle. In the beginning, it's not easy, and then you find out, ooh, so there's hand and eye coordination required. Now we have our bag. All right. If you have a tape measure, okay? If you have a tape measure, you have to consider the dimensions of this. First, this is the waist, so the circumference, all right? So assuming that this is, let's say, I'm going to say that this is maybe, let's say 38 inches. Well, if you've got a 44-inch film, you have more than enough play. If this were 43 inches and the film is only 44 inches wide, I would have a devil of a time getting it in. So whenever you're buying bags, you need to buy them at least 10 to 20% larger than the actual basket. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to run into a problem in getting the gift in. Now, normally, and in one of the boxes that we sent out here, I would normally use white candy cups as opposed to the dark candy cups. The reason is that this basket has a tendency to be very dark because of that. All of the colors here are dark. If I used white candy cups, I would get an opposite contrast between the colors, and it would look a whole lot better, even though I'm using dark chocolate. And the other secret to doing chocolates with shrink is that if you use a candy cup that is deeper than the chocolate, then the film rides across the top of the candy cup and you get no melting whatsoever. All right. Now I'm going to come back and do what I showed you before, using the half trim seal. Let me see if maybe we use this camera. I'm going to take the sealer, place half of the jaw into the film, hold it, and pull. Half, clamp, pull. And I'm usually holding it for about 1.5 seconds or so. And what I'm doing is I'm simply cooking the film in the jaw. Now, notice how high, and here we have a dog ear over here. I'm going to leave the dog ear. Well, let me just trim off this little bit. But I want you to see the difference in the seam. Watch what happens when I shrink the bottom of the gift. Watch what happens to the seam. The seam is moving down because I don't really want it at the top. Now, I can use a piece of cardboard if I want to keep the heat off of those chocolates. All right? But believe it or not, I'm not putting that much heat. If it's one pass and one pass only, I'm not putting that much heat on the chocolates. Now I come back to the dog ear. Let's take and put this over here. And we're going to pass this around. You mean because I wrapped it, you don't... All right. If I needed to put a hole in it, I would put it under here. Oh, you mean to get a finger-size hole, so you could rip it over and try a sample. I'll tell you what, let's sample it after we're finished, so we can pass it around. All right. So the only time you have to be concerned about doing chocolate, if the chocolate touches the film and you heat the film in that area, you're going to get a very slight melt. If you use white chocolate coatings, you get no melt at all. It'll melt, but it won't show. So milk chocolate and dark chocolate bloom. White chocolates don't bloom. So you'll notice that I've used some enrobed on the bottom, some unenrobed, those nut clusters on the bottom, and the white on the top. So if you make the center row, the milk chocolate, the dark chocolate, deeper, the film spans from one point to another and it doesn't touch the chocolates at all. Now, I didn't do that. I was trying to show you that I could still shrink the film and not be concerned about it, as long as I didn't do it too heavy. All right. So the product integrity they were talking about, the container, the customer is judging. They're making A judgment value on whether it's a brand product or not. Can I identify that name? The container, is it usable? The proportions of the gift, the construction, the theme, the value. All of these are items that the customer is deciding on. Rick, what do you mean the seminar truck is in a gully with all the gift baskets inside? You won't be at the hotel for another 6 hours? That means we won't finish setting up the seminar until 3 a.m. Saturday morning. The seminar is supposed to start at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. What's the goal of advertising? To inform your market, to enhance your image, to increase the store traffic in your store, to get to greater profits, all right? Let me talk a minute about charity, because people say to me, how do I get into these big customers? How do I get into these big customers? I'm going to tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. You need to go home, and when you see a charity affair, or you need to find a company that you want to do business with, and you write to the president of the company, maybe they're doing $4, $5, $6 million, $10 million a year. Don't go after the big ones. Once you go after a big company, there's so much infrastructure at the decision-making level, you cannot penetrate it. So you need to deal with the person who's going to make the decision. And that usually would be, let's say, an example would be a gentleman, all right? So he's doing $8 or $9 million worth of business, and you write him a letter and you say, I would like to help you with your next charity affair. What is your favorite charity? I will be willing to build a gigantic gift to help you with your next charity. Have you ever gotten a letter like that from anybody? I can tell you, this man will be blown off the face of the earth. He will have never received a letter from someone volunteering to help. You do not have to provide all of the product. You have to provide the basket, the filler, the creative talent, the energy, the delivery to get it to the location. But his organization has to donate all of the product to you. They want to just let them come into my store, drop off a bottle of or some candy, or about 25 pieces, and I'll make this gigantic big basket. How many times have you all gone to an affair where there was a raffle and someone gave away, or somebody made a donation? And this basket is from, the only person in the room who knows where the basket came, the person who got it. If you're going to make a gift for this giant gift for this man, let's assume it's for a golf tournament. Can you see that in the back? See, if you're the one who's putting the energy out, then you should be the one who's getting the credit. These letters are available at any stationery store. So this should be across the basket. And you want to take a picture. So once you make contact with this individual, you want to say, well, if I'm going to help you, I'd like my name in the program for free. I'd like to have a picture of you and the person who wins the basket. I'd like to be in the picture. And I'd like a thank you letter. And he says, well, of course I'll send you a thank you letter. You'd be surprised how many non-thank you letters you get. So if you get that going in before it happens, you can be sure that you'll get it, because he'll keep to his word. If he raises $600, $700, $800 off of this basket, I guarantee you, come Christmas time, when it's time to buy gifts, and you call him on the phone, he will listen to what you say. Now imagine doing this 8 or 9 times a year with top executives in your community, or women who are the heads of charities, of the hospital, local hospital, or whatever. So here's the way to get into the door, by getting involved with charity. And again, you do not have to donate all the product. Now, if I am not perfectly clear on this, after you get home, write me a letter. Dear Tom, but I wasn't sure how. Use your winning personality to, I want to help you. But here's what I want. Everybody wants something. Here's what I want. I want my name in your program book. Gift donated by. Well, you didn't donate it all, but they're not going to put all those other names in there because you're doing the basket, you're doing the delivery. All right, now, let me talk about this because it has to do with construction. It looks like a little boy's gift, and it certainly could be. But if you happen to get the dump truck company's stationery or the motor truck company's stationery and put it on the truck so that the man's name is on the truck. Make the gift up, and this is the man that you help with the charity, and deliver it to his office. You're not giving him this gift. This is your gift that has his name on it, and you go in and make an appointment. I'm going to tell you, customers who have used this, I know of one group of women, 2 women, who sold $15,000 on one order. And the vanity of the name on the truck made the difference. And the man actually ordered the trucks and had his body shop paint the trucks, his colors and pinstripe the trucks. So that's how impressed he was. So you only need to identify, okay, what would you do for a banker? I could do this gift in front with the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if you're familiar with Harry London's. Harry London's has $100 bill boxes of mints. There's a lot of companies that have gold coins out, and all you need to do, because this is your new gift wrap for the business executive who's in the stock market or the banker, and pre-wrap some of your products so that you're using this as a value. Get involved. I'm saying up here 12 charities. It probably will be too much. Do 6 or 7. But do the ones that you want to help the most, and do the ones that you feel are going to benefit. I'm saying to you, if you're going to help someone, then you should also feel, if I help someone and I orchestrate it correctly, maybe they'll help me in return. Doesn't mean that they will. It's possible. It's possible. Quite often I will do a wicker chair, and I have one up here, I think, along the front, and that's a fairly easy gift. The other thing is a money tree, taking a tall Ben Jemima and just wiring money to the leaves is another way of doing a 500, 600. All right, but make sure that you get a letter of agreement that you're going to be in the program. In-store display, certainly. And my last statement is, what on earth are you doing for heaven's sake? If you get involved with charity, you're going to be surprised how many doors will open, for you.
What on earth are you doing, for heaven's sake? I believe in the providence of God. Get involved in your community with charitable events. Help others, and you will help yourself. The corporate account. We talked about this earlier. Are you up to their quality? You've got to start to show your products early and all the time. When you have a customer come into your store and you know they are a corporate account, make sure you take them over to your gift display and show them the 10 or 12 gift baskets that you have displayed there. These are our gifts. Plan to spend time outside of your store and don't plan on selling anything. Just take names and numbers.
For those of you who have seen the dump truck, it looks cute, but it is not a child's toy. I want you to imagine that you can get a business card from a president who owns a construction company or an excavation company. I want you to take that business card and I want you to put it over the word Tonka. Then I want you to fill the gift with your products. Then I want you to deliver it to his place of business with a small treat for the receptionist and say, would you please give this to your boss and let him keep it on his desk for a day or two, and if he's interested, to give me a call or I'll call back so I can make an appointment. All right, now, you're only going to leave this with him a day or so. You're not giving him this gift. But what I want you to do is I want you to zero in on construction companies about the end of September. Are there any questions on this? I want to make sure that we're not giving this to the gentleman. We're showing it to him. If he doesn't buy it for the Christmas holidays, you're going to take his name off and put someone else's card on there and just go on right down the line, right through your yellow pages. What if you planned on doing 500 gifts and by November 30th you had 500 orders? You could fill your gifts and get an early start to Florida and leave December 15th, couldn't you? Wouldn't that be great? But no, wait. You're going to become greedy. You're going to say, aha, I've reached my goal and now I can do another 100 gifts. And that's when you start to really get tired, all right? I'm just joking. What I want you to do is get out of your office. How many of you are locked into your store? How many of you go into the store, you open at 8:30, you close at 6, you go home? Are you spending any time out on the street, meeting people? I'm sure a lot of you are members of different organizations. That's very, very important. I always like to dazzle them with my best. And that's what you're seeing over there. You're seeing a lot of glitter, you're seeing a lot of display. It takes time because baskets are time intensive. There's just no way around it. When you're wrapping as many products as I've got over there, we're individually wrapping boxes and putting gift wrap on, going around with ribbon. The average gift takes 20 minutes from start to finish. So you've got to make sure that you're going to charge enough. Don't give your products and your services away for nothing. Who pays for the lights from 9 to 10? So you work on a basket from 10 to 10:20, but who's paying for the lights before that? Most often I find that a lot of retailers will only take a keystone markup. I'm going to suggest to you that you take at least an extra 25, 30, or 40% if you can on that product because you're going beyond. Number one, you've got to take all the labels off the product that you've just put on, all right? And now you may have to wrap some, and you're spending more for that customer, and they may come back and want to charge it, and now they want to put it on American Express, and now it's going to cost you 5%. So you've got to make sure that you're going to get your investment back. Don't do it for nothing. Contact those people you've helped this past year. Their office door will be open to you. Make an appointment to see them, but do it early. Did you hear me? I said early. October, not later than November. markup. Let's talk about markup because that is the single most important chapter that everyone wants to talk about. And I will say again, if it's working for you, don't change it simply because I've said to change it. But I found that the best percentages of markup wind up being 65% of all of the products that you're going to, or the recipient is going to consume. Candy, cookies, specialty foods, whatever. So the 65% represents of 100%. If you were selling a gift, or let's say if you were buying a gift, or if you were buying a product to put inside of a gift, assuming, let's say you were buying a box like this, it was costing you $1. I'm going to suggest that you better sell that box for $2.25 or $2.50 in a gift, because you're doing more for the customer. You're not just selling this over the counter. You have to take markup. Do you know that only 2/3 of your time to make a basket is devoted to actually making the basket? 1/3 of the time is when the product comes in the door. You have to unpack it, you have to put it on the shelf, and you have to price it. And then you have to wait until someone comes along to buy it. So that has to equal 1/3 of the time, and that's the reason why you have to get the extra markup. All right? The container, and it doesn't have to be a basket, 20% at retail. If it's a $100 gift, we're talking 20. And that can be a variable. You can go up and down on that, but if you go up, then you've got to take away from the 65%. If you go down, you can add to the 65%. Labor. If you think that you're saying, well, I'm just doing this, I'll make a lot of baskets, don't give your labor away. You're giving the cream of your manufacturing process away. If you do that, you're giving your real profit away. You're giving the money that you need to pay your bills and the money that you need to pay yourself, and you obviously work very hard, so don't give that away. And then packaging. And when I say packaging, I'm talking about just the shredded, the bow, the filler, the wrap, the enclosure card, any other packaging, labels, accents. We're talking about 5%. We talked about the fact that it takes between 15 and 18 minutes to make the average gift. All right? And control is the most important. Making sure that what you put into that basket, you're charging for. If you put I'll just put this little extra in. You multiply that at the end of the year, and you'll be surprised how much you're giving away, of the products that you need to sell. All right. There's a lot of people in the industry who like to make custom baskets, and I would say to you, that's fine. If you like to make custom baskets, give your customer the opportunity to make a custom basket. But do you want to make a custom basket on December 15th? I don't think so. Because imagine 100 people coming into your store on December 19th saying, now look, now this basket has to have this product. But this basket is for my uncle, and he doesn't like that. You have to put... So make sure that you have enough baskets on display that that picky customer is going to be able to choose from something. If you still want to make custom baskets because you cannot make the same markup, now the customer is investigating. Now let's see, this is $3 and this is $2, and all of a sudden you're exposing yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to have two signs. The first sign that says, we do not make custom baskets past December 15th. Second, and this is up to you, the percentage that you state, all custom baskets carry a 20% overcharge, a 25, a 30, depending on how, because you've got, see, they again think that Peter Pan, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse is in the back working in a mystical way, and they go, abracadabra, bazang, oh, this is for you, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. But we know that it does cost, and it takes a lot of time. Baskets are time intensive. They're time intensive. They take a lot of your time and your effort. All right? So, show the signs. Make sure that the signs are there so the customer knows, oh, if I want a custom basket, it's going to cost me 25% more than what I select. And that way you safeguard your profit. And then the other thing is, if you make sure that you have enough baskets on the floor, then they have a better choice. And the more baskets you have on the floor for them to choose from, the less they're going to want to.
Moses.
Yes, Lord, I'm here.
Moses. Pay the bank first.
What?
Pay the bank first.
What?
Are you listening, Moses?
Yes, Lord.
Then pay the bank first. Moses.
Yes, Lord, I'm here.
Don't forget the golden rule.
It's time to dance. Let's take a chance. Throw all your worries away. It will be great. No time to wait. Let's start a new life today. It's gonna be fun. Don't walk, let's run. Say that you'll join hands with me. Hold your hand high. Reach for the sky. Very soon you will see.
No sense in thinking your life is through by throwing your cards on the table.
There is no problem we can't overcome. No time to doubt. We can work it out. It's time to celebrate. Lift up your voice, let jubilation fill your heart. It's time to celebrate. Tell all the world you found a new life in your heart. For once in your life, do what is right. Don't let your dreams slip away. Just take control. Reach for your goal. Start living your life today. Don't ever think that you're
This is the end of my presentation, but just the beginning for you. Good luck, good fortune, and may the good Lord bless you in your future goals, your grand hopes, and your dreams come true.